Welcome to 2025. We're here to talk about what's going to be great in the park, what's going to be the same, and what's going to suck. Coming up on this episode of Dark Ride Dads. Welcome to this episode of Dark Ride Dads. We're excited to be here talking about 2025, our expectations for the park. We're each going to give our opinions on what's going to be great, what's going to be about the same, what's just going to suck coming into 2025. So, first things first in this episode, we're back, baby.
He got it.
He got it back.
Merry Christmas,
He
Cooper.
swam to the bottom of Tiana's and got his hat back.
It just feels so right.
It's like it came back from the dead. It's almost eerie.
I have some good friends here who decided to help my family out and recreate this cherished treasure of mine.
So
I'm happy to have it.
He lost his hat and got it back. And I got got this baby on our trip. It was close to the time of my birthday, and these fine gents surprised me with this beautiful Ghost Host sweatshirt. It's cool.
I think it's important to say that Cooper lost his hat after he told us that you didn't need to flip it around backwards and that he's always been fine.
We were both wearing hats, and we flipped those babies right, because they'll always tell you, hey, you take those hats off, and you don't have to take them off. Just turn them around.
I was very confident.
Cooper's like, you're all idiots.
I was very confident.
That sucker blew right off.
Never lost a hat on a roller coaster in my life. Glad I could do it at Disneyland. Another first-time experience for us on that trip. Okay,
Magical.
Let's get into this.
So I'll tell you what's not going to suck for you. You're never going to lose a hat again.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not that smart.
That's true.
We're going to find out.
That's true.
Stay tuned. Yeah, let's get into this. I want to talk 2025. So we're going to kind of round table this a little bit. I'm going to ask each of these guys, what do they think is going to be good in the park in 2025? What they think is going to be about the same? And then really just kind of what sucks. And I think when we get to the what sucks part, you're just going to come uncorked and, stay tuned. This might be a long episode. Bear with us. So let's start with Jay. Jay,
I'm a pretty positive guy. I don't know really what you're talking about.
Well, one of us puts the dark in Dark Ride Dads.
Yeah, you do.
And one of us is just an eternal ray of sunshine.
You're welcome. Let's start with Jason.
Let's start with Jason. What's going to be good in your mind in 2025?
We kind of talked about this. I'm looking forward to them finishing up Downtown Disney.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I think that is going to really fix or complete an area that has been incomplete in my mind. Like, I think that's going to be solid. I'm super stoked to see that.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to go there, to be honest. I love that, though, because I'm with you. I
really
think that's going to be good.
that.
It's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
And it feels proper, right?
Yeah,
Like it feels
seeing
like
the
a
changes
proper
they've made
attraction.
so far, I think that it's a massive part of the park, right? It's your experience every time you hop. It's your experience when you get there. It's your experience when you leave. Like, so having it like buttoned up and having everything from the beginning all the way to the end of the hotels, like, I think it's going to make it a great experience.
I will say as well, there's some unique shops downtown now that you don't get in either one of the parks. It's not like you can go to the park and have some of those experiences. You actually have to go to downtown.
And some of the dining too.
Yeah.
Like,
It's one of my kids' favorite attractions because they like to spend my money.
just Downtown Disney in general.
Yeah, like if they could choose, that's probably where they'd want to go.
I will say this, being a Lego fan, we're all Lego fans. That's, in my opinion, the best Lego store I've ever been in.
It's
by
fantastic.
far.
It is.
By far.
And and I think they're cleaning it up.
I got to use my favorite word here. The ambiance is just unbeaten.
It's
They
great.
have some super creative people working there too.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great way to start. All right, let's go to Zach. 2025, something good. What's going to be good?
Nothing. No, it's crazy because we didn't really plan this episode, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh man, what am I going to say? The only thing that really comes to mind, and I understand that this has already happened, but for me, I think it's going to be the Haunted Mansion queue.
Oh, okay.
The Haunted Mansion queue, obviously, the Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride, but it's had so many interruptions over the past
it's been
season or two.
slow going.
It's been the queue. It's been they've had it torn up. It's been closed. They've had like the virtual queue and all that kind of. So for me, it's going to be getting the Haunted Mansion back to its regular form.
It's
right?
proper self.
It's proper self where it's just going to be uninterrupted. You can go get in line.
Yeah.
I hear the queue is going to be fantastic. I'm a little bummed about the gift shop. I've not heard great things about that, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
No, we're focused on the positive.
I'm talking about the Haunted Mansion experience is going to be awesome for 2025.
Okay. Dude, I love that one. I think that's great. Cool. Now I guess I'll bring up the last of the good. It's an anniversary year. It's the 70th.
It's a big year.
I think I've been paying more attention and noticing more. Disney is investing in the park like they haven't in the past 5 years. And I think it's all kind of leading up to this celebration of Walt, you're going to see Walt unveiled in the Incredible Mr. Lincoln.
So cool.
Right? And I just think they're going to do a good job. Last time it was the 60th. They did a great job. Yeah. I think this year with it being the 70th, they just kind of handle these things well and they celebrate the moments properly. So my expectations is the park's going to be in good shape. I think you're going to see kind of a fresh, revitalized park with a lot of the attractions that are open.
Nice theming.
Yeah, the whole thing. And I think it's going to be a really nice experience for a lot of folks. And I really hope that we get there this next year to kind of experience it.
I will say, when we went for the 65th, that is to date, one of the best things I've had was that 65th anniversary cupcake.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I wasn't so lucky.
So the food will come along. I think with the 70th, they'll do some special things for that. But
okay,
sweet. Yeah, I'd forgot.
Awesome.
Yeah, 70th is a great one.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So those are our three good things. Let's move into the things that we just kind of expect to stay the same, even though they probably could use some work or attention or some love. What's something that you expect to kind of stay the same, Zach?
Well, I think the crowds. I think they've been trying, or they've been saying that they've been trying to control that with the online reservations and all the kind of stuff. And to be honest, I've never seen a difference at all. Right? I think they try to pitch it that it's going to be different. They try to say that there are different things with the lightning lane and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, like, you pretty much just need to know what you're doing in Disneyland in order to be able to traverse the crowd. So I think that just from here moving forward, I think the crowds will always just be there, right? Like, you're gonna have slower days and stuff like that, but I don't see that changing dramatically anytime soon.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go to Jay. What do you think?
That's actually interesting. So my thought going into this was a little more, it's pretty much that, but a little more specific, which is their issues with the lightning lane. I think that it's going to remain the same. They're probably going to try 14 different versions of them and they're all going to be horrible. Like, I have yet to, I mean, I loved it when you got the fast pass.
Can we all agree
cards?
That was the best thing ever.
That was the best one. I don't know why they ever went away from that.
It was great.
Other than that, they've done nothing to convince me that they can solve that problem, and it's always been just a new nightmare with reskinning the nightmare. But I feel like that's going to stay the same.
So that frustration still exists.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of prompts a good question in my mind. Are they going to pull some rides off of Lightning Lane? Because, we've heard Pirates is supposed to come off of Lightning Lane. Do you see that happening, or do you think it's just going to stay the same?
I mean, I am an optimist. I hope that they just pull. But I really hope so.
That goes back to what I was talking about with crowd control, right?
Yeah.
They're saying a lot of that is like, oh, we're doing this for crowd control. No, it's not. We're trying to move lines off to the side, or we're trying to do whatever. Like, I'm with you. I think ours kind of go hand in hand. I think that they're really grasping at straws to try and make the guests think that they're doing all that they can, but. The bottom line is they're going to let as many people in the park as they can because that's how they get their money.
That's what makes them the money. Cool. Mine, I think, is really kind of in the same vein. I expect the crowds. I expect the park to generally be the same. I will say for me, though, I expect, again, building kind of on what I was talking about of what I think is going to be good, the cast are going to continue to be great. I think every interaction that you have with a cast member at the park, every single time, it's really consistent. They're great. They're well-trained. They're phenomenal. They're very friendly. I think that'll be the same for me. Yeah. You got a different experience?
We'll have another episode.
Worst cast member interactions.
Cast members. Craig.
Just ruining magic.
No, but I think the last two trips we've been on, like, we've had some moments with cast members that are just kind of fun.
Yeah.
And they make it really special, and they go out of their way, I think, to make it great. So
remember when we didn't record the amazing moment you had in front of the Millennium Falcon with R2-D2? What a performance Zach had.
Man, I was
with his phone not running at all.
And then I walked away and looked down. I'm like, didn't get it. Maybe I'll throw a picture in there.
I was like, I can't believe we're recording all this. This is going to be great.
It'll always be a magical memory, and that's what counts the most, Jason.
Oh, well, we all remember it as a big failure.
Wow.
Okay, let's move into, this could take some time, and I expect there's kind of a lot of thoughts and opinions that we could go back and forth on here. Let's talk about what's going to get worse in the park in 2025, because I feel like there's a few things here that are a little concerning, and I know you have your thoughts. So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Jay? Kick us off.
This might be the most pessimistic you ever hear me, but them rehauling and updating Smuggler's Run is going to be an absolute nightmare. Like, I'm 100% confident that, everything they're doing Star Wars right now is just
not great.
Just garbage.
It's not great.
It's garbage. So, and I guess it's going to have to do with Mandalorian and Grogu, which, boy, weren't they great in
in their
season
series.
1, right? They were so great in season 1, and then they just ruined that whole series. Anyway, that I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah.
But
I actually think that's a great one. That wasn't even on my radar, to be honest. We haven't talked about it.
I think that is going to be awful.
But I agree. I agree.
I agree with you. No, I agree. Star Wars is in a funk.
What was the last good Star Wars thing that came out?
Mandalorian season 1.
Mandalorian.
Andor. Which came out first?
Andor was great too.
Andor was fantastic.
I don't know which one came out
Season 2 is
first.
coming out soon.
I mean, post below if you don't agree, but
Yeah, no, it's in a rock.
Try to convince us otherwise.
I haven't watched a Star Wars anything for months.
I haven't even seen Skeleton Crew yet, and that's been
me
out.
neither.
I haven't been
I
excited
forgot
to
it
see
even
it.
was released.
Yeah.
Sad. I love Star Wars.
They're really driving that franchise into the ground.
Good pull.
Yeah.
Good pull. Not on my radar.
There you
I
be.
love that one. So Star Wars.
Star Wars
for Jason. I'm going to go next. We're going to hold this guy
you
for last.
should.
I think one of the things that you're going to see get worse in the park in 2025 is the value. Disney for a long time has been a great value for families. I know it's expensive. I know it's hard to get there. But if you look at the last 10 or 15 years, you always felt like your experience and the money that you spent, like that experience far outweighed the money that you put into it.
Yeah,
right. And you created so many great memories with friends, with family. And it's been great. And I think what I've seen over in particular, the last 5 years, especially the top end, like you're seeing it get kind of more like this, where the experience and the money are coming more in line. And to me, like, that's just not Disney. And I struggle with it. I really struggle with it.
No.
But I see that only getting worse. You know, I know Universal's putting a ton of pressure now on Disney, where forever Disney's kind of had the upper hand, in my opinion, in theme parks. Universal has always been more money. Right? Like it's always more expensive. You have to pay for more frills. You have to pay for upgrades. Yeah. And Disney's always been really consistent. But as I see Universal kind of on the rise, I'm not going to be shocked, when a Super Bowl winning quarterback stands up and says, I'm going to Epic. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just going to make Disney worse, to be honest. Like I think they're going to overreact. I think they're going to overcharge. They're going to increase their prices. They're going to come a little bit lost. And they're going to kind of forget kind of that core value of what Disney is. And that's a family-friendly park where everybody can have a great time, and the value's great.
And I thought Zach was going to be the downer. Whoa,
That was a great start.
big things.
That was a great start.
We'll build on it, my man.
Because
Go ahead.
Happy New Year, everybody.
I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, definitely the value. That right away,
And again, we haven't talked about this.
No. This isn't a flex or anything. But I've been a Magic Key holder the past 5 or 6 years. This was the first time that I let it lapse because the value in it is no longer worth it to me.
Yeah,
and that sucks to say.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. Like I've been a Disneyland fan my whole life, and I always was looked forward to getting the Magic Key and the annual pass holder. And but like the prices keep going up.
Yep.
The blackout dates keep getting worse. There's almost no weekends for the one that I can afford. Right.
Yep.
And so when you're talking about the value getting worse, for me, if I had to sum it up, like you said Star Wars, you said value, I think everything. Honestly, like that sounds dramatic, but I think the overall experience in Disneyland for me is continuing to decline, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like everything from like the food that we just tried, right?
Yeah, not great.
That was a bummer, not high quality. I have always defended Disney like, yeah, it's expensive, but you get what you pay for, right? Like what you just said. Like, yeah, you're going to pay a premium dollar, but you're getting a top-notch experience. It's going downhill. Like with the Lightning Lane, that's making things worse, right? Like the reservations, the high prices. Like it's getting to the point where it's like, I mean, I love going to Disneyland, but I'm not like I don't know when I'm going to be back.
Well, and it's
I
interesting.
don't know when I'm going to be back.
It's interesting as well. I want to build on what you're talking about there a little bit. It used to feel like you could be really spontaneous at the park, and I feel like that's almost completely gone away.
Oh, you got to plan everything.
You have to go with a game plan. You have to have your phone. You have to know when you want things. You have to plan ahead. Where I think previously and in the past, you could just kind of show up at the park and have a great time.
Yeah.
And I
you
think
could
that's
still
going
get
away.
7 or 8 rides in, and now it's like you'll get 3 if you don't.
I feel really
plan
bad
ahead.
for the families who maybe don't pregame, right?
Yep.
They don't plan so much, and they show up and they think that you can still do that.
Yeah.
You're done. Like you won't. You'll go home mad, angry. And I have friends who have taken their kids and they're like, I hate Disneyland. And I'm like, well, why?
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about it. And they're like, we rode two rides. The Lions were bad. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you're in trouble.
Well, and I think you see it in the park more. Because, I'm thinking about this and I'm trying to be really reflective about our experiences in Disneyland the last 5 years in particular. I've seen an increase in frustration in attendees, right?
And even in the cast members.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
You've talked about how great the cast members are, but
the cast members this last time,
back in the day,
very, very different.
You
Big
never
change.
saw a disgruntled cast member. You never saw them and they're people, right? Like they're not going to be
have bad
perfect.
days.
But we're talking about what we expect 2025 to be, and my answer for what's going to be worse is just about everything. Now, that being said, am I going to keep going? Yes, because I absolutely love the park. In my opinion, it's the only thing that is as close to Walt's vision of
1,000,000%
of the Disney company, right? Like the parks were what he envisioned, and it's almost it's untainted to a point where I still go and I'm like,
if there's a piece of the magic that Disney still has, it's still in the parks,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can wrap this up, but I don't want to end completely negative. Like, in your opinion, just sharing kind of with the people that want to follow and kind of engage in this conversation, what can they do to fix it? How do they make this better?
For me, the reason why I fell in love with Disneyland was because of the magic and the experience.
Yeah.
And it feels like the almighty dollar is now the focus, right? What can we do to just make the most money as fast as we can? Yeah. I think the way that they fix that is by going back to their roots, going back to find a balance. You talked about how that's starting to even out, right? Like find a balance where like you're still making money, but like it's crazy to me. You think about what made Disney the company that it is was like family entertainment, family magic, family experiences, and it's like that doesn't seem to be as important anymore. I think you go back.
It's all profit at the expense of the experience.
It is, and it's
well
and
said.
you feel it. You feel it too. You
elocution.
You would feel special at Disneyland. You would feel like, but now, like if you don't have Lightning Lane, you feel like a second class citizen. You're like, I still paid $100 to get in here, but I didn't pay the extra 40. So I'm.
And it trickles down, right? Like if that's the vision at the top is like, and you want to make money. They're a business, right? But like,
this is America. It's capitalism.
The experience is what people are paying for.
Yeah.
And that attitude trickles down to the workers. Like this last time we went, I felt like they were nice employees, but they were employees. They're not supposed to be employees. No. They're supposed to be. They're part of the magic, right? They're part of.
I'm going to challenge you
the experience,
because we had an interaction when Tiana's didn't open. We had an interaction with the gentleman at
the
head.
He was great. He was
phenomenal.
Not all of them are terrible.
He was
some
really
of them are
funny.
phenomenal.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm like, you're right. I don't want to end on a negative thing because am I going to still go to Disneyland? You bet.
Yeah, right.
Do I have a magic key? No. Yeah. Because I'm not convinced that what I'm paying for that is worth it. Is worth how many times I get to go in a year and the experiences that I've had these last couple of times. I'm like, I don't think so. But Disneyland overall for me is still, like I said, it's special. It's the heart of Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I will, as long as they don't run it to the ground. Like there are way more positives there than there are negatives. But I do think that from what I've seen, it's declining in almost every category.
Yeah. Interesting take. Cool. Well, let's end this with a little bit of a positive. What was your favorite thing in 2024 from Disneyland, Jason?
My favorite thing in 2024?
One favorite thing.
When we did our giveaway.
Oh, nice. That was awesome. That was
cool. I love doing the giveaways.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it's always our Dark Ride Dad trip is going to be like the highlight for me. Like Disneyland with your buddies is always the best thing in the world. But yeah, the giveaway was great. And it came with gingerbread cookies, which was like a close second. That was amazing.
Yeah. How about you, Zach?
Obviously, I love our trips, right? Dark Ride Dad's trips are amazing.
Here comes family, man.
For me, it was our first time back in the park as a family in 3 years. So,
oh wow,
maybe not 3. I think it was 2. But our kids were both gone, our 2 oldest, and so that was super special. That was my first time doing 5 days in the park. It might have been a little long with family, but it was super cool. We stayed in an Airbnb, which we had never done. We always stay in the cheapest hotel, but it was just a different experience. And I loved it. I think staying in that Airbnb, but still being able to walk to the park, and just being there with family, like that's something we've done since our kids were toddlers. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, love
it. That's awesome.
Cool. And I mean, for me, it's Dark Ride Dads. Getting 2024 under our belts, really bringing this to life and making it happen.
Cool.
It's been awesome, man. Like I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited about our future. And it's been really fun to just talk about the park, think about the park a little bit in a different way. And then when we go to have a little bit of a different experience with kind of different objectives, it's been awesome. Yeah. So
Solid.
I
When are we
love it.
going again?
I know. We gotta
Yeah,
go,
baby.
baby. We gotta go. 70th.
Here I am saying everything's going to be, and I'm like, well, let's go back.
Yeah, we've decided it's
All gonna be
roughly
worse. I can't wait.
4 to 6 weeks after a trip. You're like, I'm ready. Let's go again.
That's about the time. If
And
you
we're
want to
getting-
know,
We're getting
It's about-
close to 6 weeks here.
I know it's time to go again. But we got. I think the 70th kicks off in May. I think. So we'll try to plan a trip and get down there. But anyways, there it is. 2025. Our expectations probably a little darker, a little more heavy than the Dark Ride Dads.
It's the dark and the dark right dads, but
For real.
dark
you know,
one.
For real.
we can also like leave a comment if there's some things in 2025 you want us to talk about that we
Yeah,
haven't.
good, bad, or otherwise,
Yeah.
maybe
right?
we missed some stuff.
For sure. So bring it up. But we appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to 2025. We're the Dark Ride Dads.
See you later.
Thanks.